been to Vietnam? If you could raise your hand, and how many people? Not a lot of hands coming up. I've now been there 3 times, and let me tell you, it's an exciting place. My first time there, you came out of the hotel and you say, how do I cross the street? These billions of motorcycles going every way, and you ultimately learned you just walk, and the seas part. It's kind of like the Red Sea. So it's an exciting place, it's a demanding place, it's a hot place. And so I have so much respect for the students who said, that's the place I want to be, that's the place I want to do something really different, that's a place where I want to really be challenged. On my most recent visit, I spent time in some of the extracurricular, co-curricular, after-school activities, and I was blown away by some of the things our students are doing. Working in a school for students and young people who had been affected by Agent Orange in a war that preceded them by many years. And what our students could do, I'm not sure I could do. Taking the initiative and getting involved with a variety of different programs, teaching soccer, which is one of the things that Andrew did. It's an extraordinary place. I think we've learned some extraordinary things, which we will apply as we go forward, looking for a country where we can attract enough brave souls like Andrew to continue that kind of work in the developing world. So I've asked Andrew to do me a favor here, because Wong isn't here and I can't speak a word of Vietnamese, is to start his remarks with a little bit of Vietnamese. I told him he could say anything he wanted because nobody would know what he was talking about.
Xin chào, tôi tên là Andrew và em rất vui nuôi cậu cô. And it means my name's Andrew, and I'm happy to speak to you tonight about Vietnam. I've known about the program for about a year and a half or so, and throughout the whole kind of admissions process and kind of whole process of deciding if I should go or not after I was accepted, everyone I knew was just so happy for me that I'd had this great opportunity to go. Family, friends, but everyone I knew at the same time was asking the same question, including myself, which was, why would you want to go to Vietnam? And they're happy I was going, but they're just wondering, why Vietnam? And before I left, I thought I had the answer, and while I was there, I thought I had the answer, which was that it just bundled such an incredible amount of things in the program. It bundled travel, which has been in my blood my entire life. Just an amazing global studies program, which combined economics with environmental science, with language and culture. And then the last part was our community service aspect. We were going out into the community and working, as Mr. Chase said, with Agent Orange victims, orphanages around the country when we were on our service learning trips. And it was just an incredible experience, such a rewarding experience for us. And I think what really grabbed me about the program, which made me want to go to Vietnam of all places, was that it was really geared towards creating global citizens, and I think it definitely did its job. Vietnam is pretty much as foreign a place you can go in the world, and we definitely felt that every day. Every day had presented new challenges, but it was a complete adventure along the way, and we were so grateful for that. And I have just a quick story that kind of puts that into perspective for everyone. About 2 weeks after we got to Vietnam, as you know, I'm a soccer referee, as Mr. Chase said. So I was looking for a program, I could help them with refereeing and coaching, and so I found a league, and I was going to visit their field, and I saw where their field was, checked it on Google Maps before I left the house. I'm like, oh, that looks easy. All right, I know where it is, and I just hopped in a taxi, drove over, and then when I got to the general area, I realized, wait a second. I'm in Vietnam, and nothing's easy to get to. And I looked at where it should have been. There's just a complete, jumbled mess of houses, just a complete labyrinth. And I had no idea what to do. So I just kind of told them to go in. And at that point, my language skills were pretty minimal. I knew how to say like, "Hi, how are you?" That wasn't going to help, this situation. The taxi driver spoke no English at all. I spoke hardly any Vietnamese, and I'm trying to tell him where to go. And we just had a complete language barrier. And we're driving around there for about an hour, and along the way I'm trying to tell them like what I'm looking for, like the soccer. So I'm like, doing throw-ins, kicking my feet, and I was like a complete idiot to anyone looking for the taxi. And some like American in the middle of this Vietnamese, just neighborhood, just like, moving around like that. And so he called a couple people, like friends I guess, who spoke broken English, and puts me on the phone, and I'm trying to tell them where I'm going, and they don't understand. And finally, I get through to one of them, and they know I'm looking for the football field. And he gets the driver back on, and the driver looks back, he's like, "Oh, football." So we go around more corners, and then there it is, it's the field, and we're just both, I think he was happier than me. He turned off the meter half an hour before, he felt bad for me and everything. And we got there, he gets out of the taxi, gives me a big high five, and kind of going our merry way. And then refereeing 2 Vietnamese teams that speak no English in 100-degree plus weathers, story for a different time, but it was definitely quite an experience. So, as you can probably tell, our day-to-day activities were pretty chaotic in Vietnam, and one thing that definitely, helped me stay centered and grounded was writing. And I kept a full travel blog for the entire stay, all 9 months. Had about 50, 60 entries in it by the end. And it actually kind of got a bit of a following. By the end of the year, it had tens of thousands of hits from, I think, about 100 different countries. So, it's definitely resonated with some people, I guess. And it was just, great feeling to know that people cared about, some American getting lost in a taxi. And, I think a big discovery I made along the way, and by the end of the program, when I was writing my final entry, I think I definitely had time to reflect on the why Vietnam question. And I was reading a book earlier in the year by Paul Thoreau, who's a famous travel writer who actually visited Vietnam right after the war ended in the 70s on a train, basically a train journey. And he has a quote that I'd like to share with you that I think kind of ties into the whole SYA experience, which is, tourists don't know where they've been, and travelers don't know where they're going. And what that means to me is that there's many ways that tourists can visit a place and not experience it at all. Maybe it's they're staying in a large hotel that's guarded from the outside world. Maybe they have a large tour group that they're in, and they're not able to have that individual travel experience in the country that they're in. Or maybe it's an economic divide. Maybe they're just so out of touch with the locals there that they have absolutely nothing in common. They can't make a connection. And then on the flip side, the travelers don't know where they're going. They're just, travelers are so immersed in where they are. They live in the moment, and they let what's happening now dictate what happens next. And I think that SYA really fosters the traveler in us. And SYA students know that even though it's hard, by being uncomfortable and putting yourself in awkward situations, that's where you get the most out of traveling. And getting outside of our comfort zones and exposing ourselves to new things is healthy, and it makes life interesting. And in the end, it's incredibly rewarding. So to finish, with the question, why Vietnam? Thoreau says travelers don't know where they're going, and I'm a traveler. And I went to Vietnam, not knowing what was going to happen to me. I just buckled up and enjoyed the ride. So thank you.
Miền